The San Francisco 49ers have made a roster move, and we're talking about it here on today's San Francisco 49ers Report by Chat Sports. I'm Chase Sr. The Niners adding a running back. We're going to talk about that, what it means. We're going to talk about this running back room as well, because a couple of players on this team, Jordan Mason, Ty Davis-Price, having fantastic training camps. And then stay tuned at the end of the show for an update on Nick Bosa from head coach Kyle Shanahan. Before we take a look at all of this, though, we're going live in just a few hours here on the 49ers Report, 5 o'clock Eastern, 2 o'clock Pacific. So much to talk about, so make sure you subscribe and turn on your notifications, and we'll see you here in just a little while. So yesterday, Field Yates had tweeted this out, that San Francisco was going to work out a couple of running backs after practice, and this all happened because of the Elijah Mitchell injury. He has that adductor strain, expected to be out about a week, maybe longer now that the Niners are making an addition to this roster at that position. But the names that Field Yates had talked about, Duke Johnson, Brian Hill, Jeremy McNichols, and Jason Huntley. The most notable of those names, I said yesterday, Duke Johnson. All of these players have had some moments with some teams across the NFL, and San Francisco signing the third name here in Jeremy McNichols, signing him to a one-year contract. The corresponding roster move, UDFA Ronald Awatt, has been released by San Francisco. Some background on McNichols here. He was originally a fifth-round pick by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers all the way back in 2017, and I talked about this yesterday briefly, that he actually played for San Francisco back in 2017 after he did not make the Buccaneers roster after being selected by them. Appeared in 2 games with the Niners. That was Kyle Shanahan's first year in the Bay. Last appeared in an NFL game in 2021. So 2 seasons ago with the Tennessee Titans when he was one of the backups behind Derrick Henry. Now, a lot of you probably have this question. Why did San Francisco make this signing in particular? It's just another camp body after Elijah Mitchell's injury. And I think that even though they said Mitchell was going to be out about a week and he's supposed to come back in a couple of days, maybe this injury is going to linger a little bit longer, especially an adductor injury when it's in that groin area. That gets re-aggravated. You're going to be out for even longer, and Elijah Mitchell's been an injury-prone player. So that's why San Francisco is making this move. As for what McNichols has done throughout his career, again, most notably with the Tennessee Titans, he's a shorter back with a little bit of strength, 34 games, 90 carries, 364 yards, and only 1 touchdown. His stops in total, San Francisco back in 2017, Indianapolis Colts, Jacksonville Jaguars, and the Tennessee Titans. During that workout yesterday, he must have shown something for obviously the Niners to pick him among the other running backs who also got that tryout at the SAP Performance Center in Santa Clara. So we're about to talk about the Niners running back room as a whole. Grade San Francisco's running back room here for me, A, B, C, D, or F. Let me know down in the comment section. So my overall thoughts on the Niners running backs as of right now. I think that Christian McCaffrey could legitimately go for 2,000 yards. I'm not sure that's the best avenue for this Niners offense to have the most success that it can have, because you might be too reliant on Christian McCaffrey. But in 11 games last year, he put up a bunch of numbers, both receiving and running. And it really was historic what he was able to do. Not only was San Francisco able to average more than 30 points per game after the McCaffrey trade once he became the starter, and then they went undefeated up until the NFC Championship game, his numbers running the football, if you translate them to a full 17-game schedule, I think it would have been around 1,700, 1,800 yards, and McCaffrey has the ability to really impact the game as a runner, as a pass catcher, and that's why he could go for 2,000 yards. That's a compliment to him and his versatile skill set. And then a couple of the backups here outside of Elijah Mitchell. Jordan Mason has been having a really good camp. He's more that in-between the tackles runner who's really physical. Ty Davis-Price is 230, 235 pounds. He is certainly big enough, physical enough to run in between the tackles, but has a little bit more speed to get out to the edge as compared to Mason. I like how the Niners have two physical backs here on top of the finesse back that is Christian McCaffrey, even though I think his physicality is somewhat underrated at moments. So you look at these three running backs here, they offer you a bunch of different skills in between the tackles, outside of the tackles to the perimeter, pass catching ability, where I really do like the semblance of the talent in that backfield. And both of those young players having really good camps going into year two. Mason and TDP, by the way, also displaying some pass catching ability too. Elijah Mitchell, really good player, rarely a negative play when he's on the field, always seems to find a little glimmer of hope to make a negative play into a positive one, has great vision, hits the hole very quickly because he understands this offense really well, and as soon as there's that vacant opening, he attacks it, and he's been productive. But with the productivity, he's been so injured over time. There's also this development that I want to spend a couple of moments talking about. So Grant Cohn did a good job of charting all of the receptions that all of the players have on this team. Jordan Mason did not have a catch in training camp last year. He's had 10 so far this year. And one of the underlying themes of camp so far, San Francisco, and I don't love this, they haven't really pushed the ball downfield with a lot of go routes or trying to take the top off of the defense. What they've done, though, dump it off a lot to the running backs to allow them to make plays with their legs after the catch. And that's been a big theme, and that theme could translate to that being a part of this Niners offense here in 2023. And either way, Kyle Shanahan, the run game really is the backbone and the staple of his outside zone scheme. And because he's so creative with play design, the scheme, and the system, the running game is always going to find a way to be very successful. And I think once again going into this year with the talent, with the scheme, with the versatility, once again the Niners will have success in running the football. We round out the show with this. And speaking of Kyle Shanahan, he is not stressed about the Nick Bosa situation. He talked about this yesterday during an interview with the media as Bosa has not signed his contract extension yet. And there really isn't any traction as far as a deal getting done. And you'd like to ideally see him report to training camp soon, but we're not sure when it's going to happen. But Shanahan, the head coach, doesn't seem to be all too concerned with this situation at all. He said, no, not at all, not concerned, because I don't know if Bosa's ever done a training camp, and he has done pretty well. It's a little different when you're a defensive lineman. Everybody wants people here, and you want to do that stuff, but it doesn't affect the team as much from a defensive end standpoint. I have as much confidence in Nick as any player I've ever been around in terms of how he prepares and everything. I know they're going to get it right both sides, and I'm excited for when I do see him. So it looks as though a deal is going to get done. I've continued to say a deal is going to get done. It's not a matter of if it gets done. It's just a matter of when. And I've also said I'm not too concerned about Bosa. You can throw out some of the worries about a soft tissue injury happening that could keep him out for an extended period of time because he's not used to football action. But what I've continued to say, if you look at all athletes across the NFL, Nick Bosa is one of the freakiest, one of the most chiseled athletes, and he's just a man amongst boys sometimes. And then the preparation that it takes for him to be in that caliber of shape is a credit to him for how he prepares and a byproduct of his work ethic. So I wouldn't be too concerned about him not being ready for the season. I think he's going to be ready for the season because Nick Bosa is always ready to play. Another reminder, join us, 49ers Report live here in just a couple of hours, 5 o'clock Eastern, 2 o'clock Pacific. Can't wait to see you all faithful. We'll see you in a bit.